we are moving on to cow neck. Cow neck. And this cow neck can be described as this kind of neck that monk uses. We are all familiar with people who they call monk. People who they call monk are the male religious people, like those, just like we have sisters and reverend fathers. We have a monk that has devoted itself to a religious life, and they have a particular clothes that they wear. Those kind of clothes, you know, when they finish wearing it's like a big gown and it drops at the neck. It drops. Yeah, then the other, they will have an inner that covers up, but there's a particular place that is curvy and it drops right there. So that is what we call a crown neck. We are actually very familiar with it. We may not just know what they call it. So I am going to describe how we go about the front cowl and how we go about the back cowl. Like if you want your cowl to be at the back or your cowl to be at the front. So I'll start with the front cowl. The first thing we need to do is to define the kind of neck we want. We have to define the kind of neck we want, like a come down, you draw your line. Most of the time it's usually a canoe neck. So where you want your cowl to drop to, like how you want it to fall, that's where you're going to mark your neck depth. Then normally a crown neck always follows a boat neck, so I'll give this place 1.5 inches. So the next thing for us is to make a curve for the neckline. And we are going to cut it. So this is it. That's the cut, and we are going to cut this side away because we don't need this side again. So the next thing we're going to do is to find a paper and place it underneath. Find the paper and place it underneath again, and we are going to slash and open. Like we are going to slash it and open it till where we want it to fall to. The dropping, let's say, just pick any point. You want it to drop to, that like the level. So I want to pick like my bust, on my bust, so it's not so far away on my bust. That's where I want it to be. So I'm just going to slash to this tip here. So if I want it to drop down to my waist too, I'm going to slash to the tip here. So I'm just going to open, but before I open, let me trim out the excess here on the center front. Please don't forget to label your center front, side front. Here's your SF and CF. So I'm going to make a slash to the tip there, and you open. The fullness you want is what you would give it. The fullness you want is what you are going to give your opening. So if you want it to be so full, you want that cowl dropping so well, you are just going to open so wide at the same time. So this is how I'm going to open mine. I don't want it to be so loud like that, so I'm going to open it to that side that way. We are going to use our tape to tape it down, then make a straight line on our center front. We'll make a straight line on our center front. You have to be very careful so that sure you take the necessary side. Okay. And then on the center front, you mark a straight line up. You're going to mark a straight line up here. This is it. You mark a straight line up there. Then afterwards, from your shoulder side, you'll make a straight line from your neck point to the neck point. You make a straight line. Please don't forget your sewing allowance here. Get a sewing allowance there. So you're just going to have it this way. You don't need a sewing allowance. You don't need a sewing allowance because you're cutting on fold. You're cutting on fold. So that is all about the front. And note that I removed all the darts. I removed all the darts. I didn't want any darts to disturb me. I didn't want any darts on my bodies, so I removed everything. So the only place I need allowance here is my shoulder and my armhole and my side here, which I am going to do later. So this is the front bodies with cowl neck. So most of the time a part of your bodies is going to carry the cowl, whereby the second part would be normal. So if your front is dropping, then the back looks boaty. It goes with a boat back at the back. If it's at the back too, you're going to have a dropping neck at the back and a boat neck at the front. So as we've had this now, that means your back is going to be boat. It will be a boaty neck, it will be canoe. And right now, how are we going to work with the back if it's the back we want to fall? So here we're not going to use any zip allowance, no zip allowance here. And the only allowance that is in fact no allowance, because we'll be cutting this back on fold. We'll be cutting the back on fold. We're going to need another paper here, just like we've done right at the back there. We are going to mark where we want it to drop. You mark your shoulder here, then mark out where you want it to drop. Where do you want it to drop? Ask yourself. You measure the length, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, any more you want. I'll mark 7 for the sake of this class. Then I'm joining the points back to the armhole tip here, and that's where I'm going to slash. I'm slashing right there. Unlike my front that I marked my style out first before I opened. So this is not like the front part whereby I can just mark it. So this is just awesome for this place the way it is. So I need all the paper just like we did in the front. So I'm just going to open. You open to any length you want, but please be careful, don't make it so, and please be careful of your points here as well. The more you open, the bigger you have, the more your clothes would fall. So this is it. So from here we are going to mark our clothes hole just like we did in front. We're going to make a straight line with it. We're going to make a straight line with it from the normal line, then another straight line coming this way. Okay, make sure it's straight. Mine is not looking so straight, so I'm going to adjust it a little so that it will become more straight. Okay, so don't forget to add your sewing allowance here as well, as we are going to cut this side. And note that we are cutting this place on fold as well. If your cowl neck is at the back, you're cutting it on fold. So this is the cut. Don't forget we need our sewing allowance there so that we'll be able to take the cloth back. Don't forget you are cutting this place on fold, so you can make it as straight as you want, just like we consider the center front on fold. That is the same way we are going to consider this place on fold. So I have been able to successfully tell us how to make a cowl neck both at the front and back, like a dropping back, a dropping front.